This
timing and
conference will now be recorded.
what's the roadmap for the training and everything. We had a general discussion yesterday. I hope yes, you got an idea, right? Of the training, duration, the preparation, and everything. So today let us discuss about what is SAP, what is ERP, what is S4 HANA, and let's also discuss about what is SAP's inception. These all things today, and we will be also discussing about what is SAP landscape, what are the servers, what is the clients, and everything today. So to start with, first, what is SAP? So SAP stands for, so there are freshers in this batch, freshers in the sense that they don't have any idea about SAP. So let us start from the basics. It's always good to refresh our basics. So let us start from basics. So if anyone already working consultant, just bear for 1 or 2 sessions because we'll be discussing pretty basics. So, but there is no basics in SAP or in any subject, because if you don't answer a question, that itself is the toughest question for you in the interview. Even though that is from class 1 or class 50, if you don't answer a question, that itself is the very toughest question. So there is nothing easy or tough or very basic kind of thing, right? So let's start with what is SAP. SAP acronym stands for Systems, Applications, and Products in Data Processing. Systems, applications, and products in data processing. That is SAP. And SAP is a German company. It used to be SAP AG, but now it has become SAP SE. The status of the company has been changed, SAP SE. And SAP has been founded by 5 IBMers. 5 IBM employees has founded SAP in 1972. So let us see the SAP journey from this date to till today of S4 HANA. So why SAP has come up with S4 HANA and these all things. Let me show you some picture through which we can understand what is the journey of SAP, the total journey of SAP. It's not in this. It's in this. Yeah. So SAP has first introduced its benchmarking product, that is SAP R2, which used to be on mainframes. That means it's a standalone system. It does not have any UI. It's a DOS-based system on mainframes. This is the first SAP's benchmarking product. And after 1972, after R2, SAP has come up with its next product called as R3 in the year 1992. You see, from 1979 to 1992, from next version, there is no major code change in the product. When SAP has changed its complete new code, it has rewritten its programs only when it has introduced a new R3 product, which is a client server architecture. This is a mainframe standalone system, and this is a client server architecture. In between, we got a lot of technology innovations, right? We got hardware innovation, software innovations. There was internet from 1985, 90s, right? So SAP has taken all these things, but there is no much major code change. The programs was not rewritten. That means until even today, whatever the package SAP we are using, that is ECC, Enterprise Central Component. R3 means real-time 3-tier architecture, client server architecture. ECC means Enterprise Central Component. This is what we are using today. From 1992 until 2006, there is nothing much code program rewritten. It is the same old program, the old 100,000 lines junk program. But when the new program has been written, only when SAP has come up with S4 HANA in 2015. So why SAP has come up with this new S4 HANA? What made SAP to come up with S4 HANA? So the picture itself tells you that, see, SAP has introduced its a solid footing product, that is R3, in the market in 1992. In 1992, we don't have these technology innovations. That means our RAMs, our hard drives are very minimum, right? We don't have mobile phones at that time. We don't have internet at that time, right? So whatever the application was developed and matured, it is all on not that compatible to the present generation, right? And customers used to complain SAP is very slow. Okay, customers used to complain SAP is very slow. But is SAP really slow? That's the first question. Is SAP really slow? No, SAP is not really slow. Why? Because let me take out some scenario. So in an application, we have presentation layer, application layer, and database layer. This is three-tier architecture: presentation layer, application layer, and database layer. So in the presentation layer, you queried for some 10 records. You asked for some 10 records. So then application layer has queried that to the database. Let's say I have 1 billion records. In 1 billion records, I'm asking for just 10 records. So querying this particular taken 2 seconds, and this has taken 2 seconds. But to search these 10 records in 1 billion record has taken 1 hour time. Okay, once it found these 10 records, it has given to the application layer, and we applied some calculation, and we have given the result to the presentation layer. Let's say this is another 2 seconds, and this is another 2 seconds. So in this complete transaction, what is the productive time? Anyone? In this complete transaction, what is the productive time? Anyone? The productive time in this total scenario is only 2 plus 2, 4, and 4. 8 seconds is the productive time. Another 1 hour, SAP is just searching for the records in the database. It's just searching for the records in the database. What if instead of 1 hour, if system would have taken another 2 seconds to get the records? The total transaction would be 10 seconds. That means within 10 seconds we can finish this transaction, but it has made 1 hour 8 seconds because of, see, SAP sits in application layer. This layer SAP sits, and SAP is mounted on database. Database is third-party database. It can be Oracle, it can be Sybase, it can be D2K, it can be MS SQL, it can be any database. These products are not SAP products. They are third-party products. So your SAP runs on third-party database. So in this scenario, what is slow? Database is slow or application is slow? Anyone? What is slow in this scenario? Is database or application?
Database.
Database is slow, right? Not the application. That's where SAP has given a thought, right? That's where SAP has given a thought saying that, so application is not slow. Customers used to complain SAP is slow, but really SAP is not slow. The databases are not up to the mark to catch up the SAP speed. There SAP has a thought, let us develop our own database, because SAP has talked to these all vendors, but they are not ready to take up SAP's idea. So then SAP has started developing its own database called as HANA database. HANA means high analytical appliance, high performance analytical and appliance. What do you mean by appliance? If I say appliance, what comes into your mind? Anyone? Is appliance a tangible or intangible?
Tangible.
It's a
This is
tangible, right?
intangible.
It's a tangible because kitchen appliance, home appliance, but database means it's intangible, right? So
Intangible.
HANA database means it's not just an application. HANA database is both. HANA database is combination of your database software and hardware. So if customer is going for HANA, that means customer has to buy HANA license, HANA database license from SAP. At the same time, customer has to buy SAP's recommended hardware. so that it can pick up that speed. That's the reason we call it as the power of HANA. Because with the power of HANA, whatever the transaction has taken 1 hour can be finished in just 2 or 3 seconds. That fast HANA database is all about, right? So what SAP has done is SAP need two things more importantly, that is speed and mobility. Speed and mobility. These two things SAP need, because from 2005 we have very good mobile configurations. We have high-speed internets today. SAP now they want to be run on mobiles as well. You can run SAP on mobile, smartphone, iPhone X, OnePlus mobile, Samsung, whatever the mobile you can run SAP. But earlier SAP used to be open only in the laptops or PCs. That's it. So SAP badly need mobility and speed. So speed they got it with HANA database, and at the same time mobility also they got it by acquiring Sybase. You know Sybase, right? There used to be a database Sybase, but in the battle Sybase lost it to the Oracle. Oracle became a leader, but Sybase has very good innovations. So in 2010, SAP has acquired Sybase. Sybase at that time itself, they have this kind of technology, that is row call, row store, and this all things and mobility. So now SAP has acquired all that functionality. So now SAP is speed, SAP has mobility, and SAP has everything now. So this is the inception, and this is how SAP has come. So in 2003, 2004, SAP is saying ERP, and this is called as ECC, Enterprise Central Component, right? The SAP SD module, whatever we are learning today in 2018, is released in 2006. That's the reason we call it as ECC 6. ECC 6. This is the last version which SAP has released in its EHP series, sorry, ECC series. Even 2018 we call this as latest. But what SAP has done from that date is it is releasing patches, EHP, enhancement packages. EHP 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The latest enhancement package is 8. That means the combination is ECC 6, EHP 8 is the latest available product. SAP don't need to release this 7 and 8. This is very much compatible to HANA. That's the reason they have released this. If not, ECC 6 and EHP 6 itself is a very successful product. But what SAP is doing since 2006? Why SAP has not released any new ECC 7 or 8? The reason is ECC product is it's already a very successful product, and it is very much burdened product. That means it has lots and lots of functionality. So let me show you. ECC itself has lots of functionalities. So the ECC application is not anymore ready to take up any new functionality, because the tables are stuffed, the functionality, everything is already like it's a huge burden on the application. So they want something new. So that's the reason what SAP has done is from 2001 itself they have started. So you see here, you can find every line of businesses here. You can see investment management, real estate, you see EHS, environment, health, safety, and sales and distribution, logistics execution, QM, quality management, warehouse management, real estate, time management, payroll, lots and lots of functionality stuffing into only one application, that is ERP. So it's becoming very slow, and the customers who don't need these all functionalities, right? So some customers are interested in some functionalities, and some other customers are interested in other functionalities. But they need it or not, they have to buy the complete package, right? So for that reason, what SAP has done is on top of the ECC, SAP has started developing new dimensional products, industry specific products. What is this new dimensional products? Which caters to that particular area. It can be CRM, customer relationship management. It can be GTS, global trade services, APO, advanced planner and optimization, or industry specific, IS, oil and gas, IS, utilities. Most of the power distribution corporation in India, government or private, works on IS utility, IS retail, IS VMS, vehicle management system, IS DMS, dealer management system, lots IS AFS, apparel, footwear and services. Your Nike, Adidas, Fila, you take any brand, they run on IS AFS, apparel, footwear and services, right? So these are industry specific modules. And also SAP has come up with some technical modules like BIBO, BODS. There are a couple of other modules, right? So what SAP has done is not to burden this one application. SAP has come up with new dimensional, industry specific, and some technical modules like this. But again, there is an issue here because every application need its own server, its own license, and these are front ends. The back end is again a ECC. That means through some remote function calls, they need to connect. They need to connect through some remote function calls. So again, it's a distributed landscape. That means if a customer is going for different applications, let's say ECC, if customer has exports, they are going for GTS. If customer is having a front-end customer services, then they go for CRM. And if they are into automobile, they may need DMS, dealer management system, vehicle management system. They all again connected to ECC as a backend. So this is a distributed landscape again, right? These all are different servers and different licenses, right? But now SAP has thought to do one thing to consolidate everything. Why it was in a different servers? Because the ECC is not able to process it. I'll just give a simple example of this. In an aeroplane, how many spare parts would be there? Anyone? Any rough estimate idea? In one aeroplane, how many parts would be there? Any figure, rough idea?
More than 1 lakh.
Yeah, more than 1 lakh. So on an average, roughly an aeroplane will have 400,000 spare parts, right? So let's, okay, just a moment. Let me show you this. Okay. So one aeroplane will have 400,000 spare parts. Okay. Let's say Jet Airways. Jet Airways has placed an order to Boeing. Jet Airways has placed an order to Boeing for 10 aeroplanes. So how many spare parts they need to procure? 10 into 4 lakhs.
400,000.
Right? 4 lakhs. That means 40 lakh spare parts they have to arrange. Just imagine how much time it will take. And see, if they place an order, first what we do, we check in our warehouse, right? What are the raw materials available? What are not available? If something is not available, we raise a purchase order to vendor and ask them to send it, right? This all process is called as MRP, Material Requirement Planning. What is MRP? In a nutshell, what material you need, when you need, and how much quantity you need. What is MRP? What material you need, when you need it, and how much quantity you need it. The same thing is called as MRP. So when Jet Airways place an order to Boeing for 10 aircrafts, which they need 40 lakh components. So it will search, right? They will first check what all the raw materials they are available, which is not available, and how much they need to procure. This all process will average take how much time, MRP is a very tedious concept in SAP MM. It's not SD concept, it's MM. Right? It's a very tedious concept because we don't run MRP at the time of working hours. That means while we do transactions, we don't run MRP because your servers will be crashed. Your server will go, it will show the loading, that's it, it will crash. So that's the reason we don't run MRPs at the working hours. We run MRPs only at the midnight. That means once our office is done at 8 o'clock, so that by the time tomorrow morning you come to office, your report will be ready saying that these materials are available and these are not available. We need to procure this material, this much quantity. In some organization, if it is organizations like this, the scenario what you have given, sometimes it may take days, 2 days, 3 days, a week as well, right? So it's a very tedious concept, MRP. That means your servers are not be supporting. But with the power of HANA now, you see, let's say today you have some requirement and you run MRP, but tomorrow by the time you get the report in hand, there is no demand. Or else, even though you have demand, is your data real time? No, your data is 12 hours old data, right? Or 24 hours old data. But with the power of HANA, there is a concept called as MRP live. You see, how do we run MRP in system with a transaction code called as MD01N? Don't worry, what is transaction, what is MD01? We'll learn everything, but just let me demonstrate. So with this, we run MRP. We tell in this 1000 plant, go and check what all materials are available, or else we can precisely tell system, I want this material. Go and check whether it's available or not in the plant. I want this material. In which plant? In this plant, I want this material. Go and check. You see, system will load like this, and it will take some time, right? But now with the power of HANA, whatever the data you're getting, the reports you are getting, it is close to real time. You see, it says MRP area plant processing create purchase requisition. 2 purchase requisitions has been created because the material is not available. It's schedule lines, planning mode, schedule, everything it runs, right? But there is concept. This is ECC system. This is not S4 HANA system. If I run the same transaction which we use in HANA, what SAP says, this transaction is for the new S4 HANA. It says this function is only available on HANA database. Why? Because your HANA database is so fast. The job which takes, say, 24 hours can be finished in less than 5 minutes. In normal ECC, if it is taking 24 hours, in HANA, it can take less than 5 minutes to finish that job with the power of HANA database, right? So that is the evolution of SAP from R2 to S4 HANA. But HANA is only a database. But what is this S4 HANA? Why you should learn S4 HANA? Because it's not coming. Just a minute. Okay, yeah. So this is the inception of SAP, and it has started and it has come to S4 HANA, right? So as I told you, what SAP was doing after 2006, the ECC 6 version, what SAP was really doing, it was working on HANA database, and it was working on new dimensional modules. It was working on industry specific modules and technical modules. So first, once the HANA was ready, SAP has mounted BW on HANA. BW means business warehousing. It's a reporting module, analytics module. It was a very success because the most important thing in any organization is reporting. How fast if you can generate report, that fast you can take decisions, right? So BW on HANA was a very much successful product in 2011. Then SAP has tried its ECC itself on HANA. Earlier, your ECC used to be on third-party databases, Oracle or MS SQL, something like that. But now, SAP has tried it ECC on HANA database. This product is called as SOH, Suite on HANA. Suite on HANA. This was 100 times faster than the old product, 100 times faster. But this is not enough because HANA database should be 1800 times faster. It should be 1800 times faster. This is only 100 times faster. So then in any organization, what is the critical department? Finance. Even in SAP, finance module is the most critical because you have lots of activities in finance, month-end closings, year-end closings, and clearing payments. Lots of activities will be there. It needs power of the HANA. So first SAP has started with a simple finance. It was success. Then SAP has introduced. Let me take out this all how I erase. Okay, I'll take a blank sheet. Just a moment. Okay, so once after the suite on HANA, once the suite on HANA, that is ECC on HANA database, then next SAP has come up with simple finance on HANA database. This was very much success. Then SAP want to bring even logistics is also onto HANA. The final product in 2015 was SAP S4 HANA Enterprise Management, which is combination of finance plus logistics. See, there is no product called as simple logistics. Many people call it as simple logistics because, yeah, we have a product called as simple finance, but we don't have a product called as simple logistics. Okay, that the final product today, what we are using is called as SAP S4 HANA Enterprise Management, which is both combination of finance and logistics. So that's how it started its journey, and now the product what we are using is S4 HANA. So let me show you some new dimensional modules and these all things. How do I erase? Because see, it's not just learning about SD knowledge. You'll not make any difference because all your team, if you have 15 people in your team in a project, all are SD consultants. They're much aware of all the concepts. But what makes you different? The knowledge. Not conceptual, only SD knowledge, the overall knowledge. If you are saying you are 4 years consultants, that means you should know past 4 years and future 4 years. That's how the strong you should be. So this is the SAP ERP suite, the core SAP ERP ECC suite. You can see the core modules SD, MMPP, FI, and these all modules. And these are new dimensional modules: APO, CRM, EHS, EWM, FSCM. These are new dimensional modules. And you can see the technical modules: BODS, BPC. These all are technical modules. And these are industry specific modules: SAP automotive, banking, chemicals. You name an industry, SAP poultry also is there, SAP real estate is there. You name an industry, SAP has a solution for that, right? So this is the evolution of SAP. But what is really an SAP? Is it a software, it's a package, or what it is? SAP is a ERP. What do you mean by ERP? Anyone? What is ERP?
Planning.
Enterprise resource planning.
Enterprise resource planning, right? That means in any enterprises, you have a couple of resources. What are the resources in any enterprise? That's called as 4 M's. That's called as 4 M's. That is man, money, machinery, and material. These are the 4 M's which will lead to success. And these are the, if you can manage this resource well in any organization, you will be in success, because you should have right people placed at right position. That is man. You have right people placed at right position, but you don't have money to introduce new technology or R&D. There is no point, right? You should have right people at right position. You should have money for introducing new technology, R&D, and you need to buy new machineries, advanced machineries, and you should use quality raw materials, all right? So these all resources are very much planned or managed through ERP, and SAP is an ERP. Can you please mute everyone? Any question you can ask me, right? Yeah, SAP is also an ERP. So what all other ERPs you know in the market? Anyone?
Oracle.
Oracle. Okay.
JD
Oracle. JD
Dynamics.
Advance. Ramco, right? Ramco.
Dynamic AX.
MS Dynamics.
PeopleSoft.
Salesforce, PeopleSoft, Pega, lots of ERPs are there, right? So one question, have you seen any person coming out of SAP and learning any of this? Have any time you seen someone coming out of SAP and learning these things?
Not yet.
No,
Or vice versa? Have you seen anyone coming out of this and learning SAP?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Many
yeah,
people, right? Why it's like that? Because when I say Oracle, what comes into your mind? Either database or Oracle financials, right?
yes,
When I say Salesforce, what comes into your mind? CRM,
Cloud
Customer
technology.
CRM.
right? CRM. PeopleSoft, what comes into your mind? HCM, Human
Yes,
Capital Management. That is nothing but HR module. That means, yeah, we have lots of ERPs in the market, but these ERPs are confined to certain area. They cannot give a complete solution to the organization. But wherein SAP can give a solution for finance, HCM, CRM, you name it. For everything, SAP can give a solution. That's the reason, as I told you, you get into SAP, you retire in SAP. You don't need to come out of SAP because you have that much to work, that many modules to work in SAP. One lifetime is not enough to work in complete SAP. So that much, that's the reason I tell, next to Microsoft, only SAP has that good projects are life, the career is very lengthy in SAP. You don't just come out of, I know people who are working since 22 years, 25 years, 30 years in SAP. But these modules, if you're working, there will be such a saturation point. If you're in Oracle, okay, after certain time, you don't have an option. But SAP also has flaw because instead of going for SAP success factor, companies go for Oracle Workday, right? So SAP also has some failures, but comparing to the failures, success is more in SAP, right? So that's the reason career-wise our organizations choose SAP because it's everything stable. As a job, your career is very stable, and for organizations also, implementing SAP is very stable because it gives end-to-end solution for all the departments. Then next, let's see, this is a three-tier architecture, what I'm talking about: presentation layer, application layer, and database layer. The presentation layer, you can see it's a GUI, that is graphic user interpretation, where you can input and output something, and all your calculations will be done at application layer, and you will be storing the data in the database layer. This is a three-tier architecture. And let's see what is landscape. So I was telling you, right, in the interviews, it would be 70-30%. 70% they try to assess you on your SAP SD knowledge. 30% time they try to check whether you are real time or fake, but you cannot find it out. Okay, that's how they put a questions. Anyone from SAP, any module, anyone in this batch who is already working in SAP, any module or SD? Ankush, you are in SAP, Ankush?
yeah, I'm working on SAP end user.
End user, okay, okay. The consultant.
Con no, actually not a consultant, sir.
Not a consultant. Okay, no problem. So you know what is landscape?
No, sir.
Yeah, that is
The
a
three different servers that we use.
yes, yes. So who will know this particular landscape? Only working consultants will know. So that's where we make the difference without my training or learning the concepts. Because see, you know every question in SD, but if you don't know what happens really in the real time, this is what happens. Okay, because this is what they put questions, killer questions, knockout questions. This one question is enough for you to, you will feel okay, let me go out of this room. That's how you'll feel. So simple question, what is landscape? What is your landscape? This is the question they would be asking in the interview. So throughout the training, if I say something as an interview question, please make a note. Please take some book, not a Excel or Word document. Take a book, pen and paper, write them. Write it, because this will help you in the last minute of interview preparation. And as I told you, 30, if you face 30 questions, minimum 20 questions will be from the training in itself. Without reading, but just at least going through videos, you will be in a position to answer them. Okay. So if I say something as a question, please write it somewhere and make a note of them so that it would be helpful for you. So this question is, what is your landscape? This is what they ask in interviews. What's your landscape? It's an arrangement of servers. See, SAP recommends you to go for 3 servers. That is development server, quality server, and production server. But and we in SAP we have best practices. That means SAP tells you to do this way. If you do this way, you will get a more return on investment, and it's easy to implement. But many companies overlook best practices, and they do whatever they want to do. Okay, the best practices, what SAP tells for the landscape is go with 3 servers: dev server, quality server, and production server. But there are companies which go only for 2 servers. There are companies go for 4 servers. There are companies which go for 50 servers. So what is this 50 server, 2 server, and these all things? See, when I say a server, it's not that simple. One server will cost 2 to 3 crores Indian rupees. Okay, anyone from other country, you can convert it. So if a server will cost 2 to 3 crore Indian rupees. So they can save, right, some money. So what they do, they eliminate one server. They will eliminate quality server. They will have only dev server, production. They cannot eliminate any of these two. They can eliminate quality. So they eliminate 2. They made only 2 server. Some companies will have 4 servers. What is the 4th server? That is pre-production server, production and pre-production server. Some companies have 50 servers. That means for every country they want to have separate server. So landscape is different from project to project, but you fix for only 3 servers. Let us go for only best practices. Throughout the training, I'll be teaching you only the best practices. We will not incline to any industry. Okay. So you can tell only 3 servers. Okay. What is the 3 servers? If in that interview they ask you what is your landscape? Yeah, it's a 3 server landscape. What are that? Dev server, quality server, production server. Okay. As a consultant, in which server you work? This is, yeah. Any question?
Praveen, just a question. I heard that sandbox in one of my previous organizations. How sandbox differs from the development server?
Yeah, sandbox is not a server. Sandbox is a client. That's what we would be discussing now. Sandbox is a client. It's not a server. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
Praveen.
So the next question comes is, in which server you worked? As a consultant, in which server you work? Someone now asked answered, right? Ankush, right? Ankush, in which server you work as the end user?
Production.
No idea, sir.
No idea. Okay, you work in production server. End user. That means, see, you go to Big Bazaar, you go to Walmart. The guys who are taking orders, right? They are called as end users. And in which server they are working? They are working in production server, live server, where we do transactions and master data. As a consultant,
Yeah.
we work in dev server. As a consultant, we work in development server. Okay. So as a consultant, we don't have access to production, and end users will now have access to development server. So server is again categorized into client. This is again a killer question in the interview. Where is your client located? You know, in many interviews I have seen, if we put this question, where is your client located? Many people tell my client is in Sydney, Australia, or Tokyo, Japan. No, interviewer is not interested to know about that. Interviewer is asking about a client which is part of server, because a server is classified into clients like this. Why can't I take an image? Okay, I'll write it here itself. Just okay, yeah. So a server, you can see the 3 servers here. This is the first time I'm using this tool. If not, I take a screenshot with Windows Ink and I do it, but some reason I could not take it. So just bear with me for this. Okay, yeah. So you can see three different servers here. This is a dev server, and this is a test server, and this is the production server. Again, this server is classified into clients like this. So in the interview, if they ask a question, where is your client located? That means they want to test whether you are real time or not. Because if you are a real time, you will know that your client is located in dev server, right? So that's the reason they ask this question. And as a consultant, functional consultant, in which client you work? We work in config client. Your technical developers work in dev client. So Vishnupriya, you asked, right, what is sandbox? Sandbox is one another client in the dev system. Config client, development client, unit testing, and sandbox. Sandbox is a separate client in the dev system, right? So what is a client? That's the first question. Sorry, where is your client located? That's the first question. Client located in the dev server. What is a client? Again, next question. What is a client? Client has a standard definition, that is which has its own set of tables, fields, master data. This is called a client, right? Again, they will ask one more question. What data you maintained in your config client? Any working consultant? No working consultant in this batch from SD? There should be a... Okay, so what data you maintained in your config client? This is a killer question, because see, they're trying to find out, they're not trying to find out your knowledge in SAP SD. They're trying to find out whether you're real time or fake, because these questions are nothing to do with your SAP SD knowledge, right? In which server you worked, what is your client, where is your client located? This is nothing to do with your SAP SD knowledge. These questions are to find out whether you're real time or fake, right? So we will not leave a single stone unturned. We will try to prepare 99.9%. 1%, let us leave it for fate. We will try to prepare 99.9%. So where is your client located? It's in the dev server. What is a client? It's a which has its own set of everything. And what data you maintain in config client? No data, because you are not supposed to maintain any data in the config client, right? You are not supposed to maintain any data in the config client, because config client is only for configurations. Config client is only for configurations. If you want to do some testing, then what you can do is you can import your configurations into the unit testing client. You ask some data from the customer, he will provide you data, and you do testing here. If you want to test some new scenario, you can do it on the sandbox. Sandbox is a R&D client, test client. That means you can simulate some scenarios in sandbox, right? So all the configurations will be done in the config client. Then it will be transported to next server for the quality testing purpose. Who will transport it? Basis consultant. Your administrators will transport it. And again, you will get a question, what is your role in the transportation? Right? They will not even leave a single point to check whether you are real time or not. Right? So who will do this transportation? Basis consultant will do. But a question comes, what is your role in the transportation? Right? So we will discuss later what is that in the due course. Then once it is transported, it is tested in this QA client, and then it is made live in the production, where you can create orders and everything, right? So this is landscape, SAP server landscape. And server landscape, as I told you, it can be 2 server, 3 server, 5 server, whatever it is, but you stick to something. Okay, you stick to something that is only 3 servers, because see, the success is you should not get a subsequent question for your answer. Okay, I asked one question, you answered it. Out of that answer, it should not lead to some other question. That is a success. Your answer should not lead to one more question. If you say 2 servers, he will not leave it at that point, right? Why 2 servers? Then where you are doing testing? Then where your client is doing in testing? Lots of questions. Why you should get these all questions, right? So for that reason, we will prepare and practice such a way that our answer will not lead to a next question, right? So this is what about the landscape. So tomorrow we will start with the greenfield implementation of SAP. And as a consultant, what is your roles and responsibilities in the greenfield implementation project? Okay. Yeah, that's it for today. Any questions?
Praveen, I have a question. This is Srini from US.
Hi.
There is
Hi,
no schedule for tomorrow, so assuming that there is no class on Friday.
No, we have a session. It is Monday to Friday India time. We have a session tomorrow. Saturday and Sunday we don't have a session.
But your email reflects 23rd. 23rd is on Saturday.
23rd.
The invites for 20, 21, and 23rd. Class 3 shows Saturday.
Okay. I think I did not check it actually, but it is tomorrow we have a session 22. Only on Saturday and Sunday it's off. From Monday to Friday we'll have sessions.
So when can we receive the recorded sessions?
Once the payment is done, you done the payment, right, Srini?
Yes, Srini Chandupatla.
Okay, Srini, sure. I'll be creating the group, the G drive today, and I'll upload videos and documents, and I'll share it to you.
And I took the access from Srinivas Sirla. He provided the access this morning.
Okay. Venkatesh, right?
Yes, Venkatesh, but he asked to send the payment to Srinivas Sirla.
Okay, no problem. Okay, yeah, I'll create the access today and I'll share Srini, and others who has paid the fees, you will be getting the drive access for the videos at the same time documents with all the interview questions.
Sure.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions? Anyone?
Sir, this is Shardul here.
Hi, Shardul.
Hello.
Yeah, Shardul, I can hear you.
Sir, that you said. Okay. Sir, you told right now that we import our configurations that we do in config client to unit testing for testing purposes.
Yes.
Transport.
No,
okay,
import.
How
That
do
is
we?
import. That is import.
Okay, importing. How do we do that, sir?
Yeah, from one server to other server, it is transport. From one client to other client, it is import. That is with a transaction called as SC01. There are a couple
importing is.
Yeah, importing is
SC01.
SCC1. SCC1. And transporting it is STMS.
Sorry, come again, please.
For transport, it is STMS, and for importing, it is SCC1.
Okay, sir. One more thing, sir. Do IDES system? I have already have the IDES system for practice purposes. Will that do the job?
That's it. Yeah, it's the same thing, right? Why you need to go and spend money?
Okay.
You can use the same thing.
Okay. There should not be then like some newer version or older version of IDES, something like that.
Nothing. So see, there is some changes you will be noticing, but that is only some, not functionality changes. Only screen changes or field changes. Nothing much on the functionality.
One more thing, sir.
Which version of EHC is?
That I cannot tell right now. I will come back to you about this again. You tell me whether I can go with it, then I will use, otherwise it will be advisable. One more thing, sir. The HANA classes that you were discussing yesterday, if possible, what is the duration of those classes, sir, and how can we access that?
HANA, it is for 6 weekends. It's a weekend batch.
Okay.
Saturday, Sunday, morning 6:30 to 8 o'clock.
Okay. So, sir, when the next batch will be starting? Like
March 16th. One batch has started last weekend for February. March batch is on March
okay.
16th.
16th, 1/6.
1/6.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay.
Then intimate me, sir, regarding that batch, so that I
Sure,
could
sure.
join.
Sure, I'll keep you updated.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, Pranay. So same for me also. I am to also join the S4 HANA batch.
Sure, Pranay, I'll update you. Anyway,
Sir,
we'll be in touch for next 2
I will be
months.
joining the same batch. Along with that, I want to join that S4 also, sir. It's like that. Because
Sure, sure. It is starting on 16th next month. So I'll update you, or else you can just ask me somewhere around 13th or 14th.
yeah. Thank you, sir.
Hello.
Yeah. I could not see your name.
Yeah, I'm Vishweshwar.
Hi, Vishweshwar.
Yes, sir. Yesterday I discussed with my friend and he also joined with you actually.
Okay.
This is the second class. I think he missed the 45 minutes of session actually.
Yesterday's or today's?
Today.
Okay. No problem. You'll be getting the recorded video. You can go through them. Any questions, you can ask him to call me.
Okay. Then he is a new joiner. I completed my whole hour course and I
Okay.
already discussed to you.
Okay, sure. You can call me. We can discuss on phone.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
And I have an interview for that. You are taking the interview session with separate classes with in online.
No, not for separate. So every batch I conduct it, so, but not immediately. After 1 month completion of the course, you will be having the review sessions.
Okay. Then you S4 HANA also can you forward that link when it is the demo class is started? Okay.
Yeah, 16th. As I told you, it is on 16th next month.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Any other question? Anyone? Okay, hope so. No questions. We'll call it day today and we'll catch up tomorrow. And tomorrow we'll continue with the same. So tomorrow we'll be discussing as a consultant what is your role in the new implementation greenfield project. So we'll start discussing about SAP methodology and what documents we prepare, and as a consultant, what is our role. Right. So see you all and good night. Catch up tomorrow. Bye bye.
Thank you, Praveen.